Hi, my name is Maxine, and I'm here because I thought I was going to represent being a survivor of breast cancer, but it comes to mind that I have to talk about being a survivor of many illnesses. Um, there's been so many secrets in my life. Um, and then they say that everything ain't for everybody, and I just thought that they're all right. They're all right being buried, because as long as they didn't affect me, I didn't have to worry about it. But then one thing after another continuously happened, and I realized that my secrets are not for me to keep to myself. You know, that if God brought me through something, to something, and then through something, and I made it, that it wasn't about me. Because I've seen and I've watched so many women not be able to pull through certain things that I knew I had to tell on it. I had to tell on the lies and the deception, the hurt and the pain. And I guess down inside, I really didn't want things to happen to me. So I thought maybe if I didn't talk about it, that it would go away or it didn't happen. But I guess it took breast cancer for me to talk to other women and men about the tragedy of going through a diagnosis of cancer, that I had to realize that there was some other stuff that I had buried away and I didn't talk about, that needed to be talked about. Not only for someone else, but for my freedom. I have to get free, and this is the first time that I've ever talked about being molested as a child, and not really realizing that it was molestation. You know, I was a 12-year-old young girl going into puberty, and so having another person of the same sex touch me in an intimate way late at night and at an event that I thought that was honest and innocent, which was a sleepover, I didn't think about it being pain or tragedy. So when it happened, the body responded, and it felt good. I'm just going to be honest, it just felt good. It's not something that I didn't run away and say, oh, I want to do this again, but it just felt good. So I never thought about what it had done to me until years later, of what it was. And by that time, I had touched or been introduced to domestic abuse, the domestic violence. And out of that came my only daughter, which I have 4 children, 3 sons and 1 daughter. And it just so happened that when I sat with my liver doctor and told them about that, I was in my 9th month. I had 3 more months to go. They told me I had to stop that treatment to work on the breast cancer. Just so happened that my doctor, which was a man, that I sat down and told that I've been diagnosed with breast cancer, exposed himself to me and told me that he was going through treatment for breast cancer himself. And he shared the information, and it was just a blessing, because here I am for the first time talking to someone about a woman's diagnosis, and a man shares their treatment and some of the steps and everything that they were going through with me. And I just say, look at God. Just look at God. You know, he's just showing me already this thing is bigger than me. This thing is bigger than women. This thing is just everywhere. a challenge. You know, I don't know why, but there's been so many challenges and struggles. My oldest son, I had to learn about special education to help him, you know. And then God let me have the other children. Sometimes I question that, but I used to. Because 2 of them had drugs in their system when they were born. But the same 2 children who the doctors told me that were going to have some problems when they grow up are the same 2 children that God using today to save other people. My daughter, she's teaching. She's a professor in college teaching women how to be a nurse. And then the son, he's a DC firefighter and paramedic. You know, when I think about when I had my son, I was locked up behind a jail cell and my water broke. And paramedics had to rescue me to take me to the hospital to have my son. And the thing about it is that he was born so that he could rescue other people.
Easy.
You know, I've had many struggles, and there's some that I'm not going to talk about today, but eventually it'll come out. But God has blessed me with my children. I gave them to Him before they were born because I said I don't know what to do. You know, I'm trying to fix this thing myself, and I know I can't, but I know you can. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's how it happened. I'm not going to say that I didn't have any part of it, but I've been able to see God really work in my life. So I talk about, you know, the trials of molestation, domestic abuse, domestic violence. I talk about the cancer. But to see how God works things out, you know, you just never know what other people are going through. You really don't know, and He's taught me. He's taught me through my own trials to be sensitive, to be alert, to be understanding, to be compassionate, to have empathy, you know, because that person may be struggling. You know, do not ever judge anybody. You know, if you're not going to help them, then just walk away and leave it alone. Because if you don't do the work that He's giving you, somebody has been assigned to it. Mm-hmm. You know, I just bless and I thank God every day. So I find it an honor and a privilege to be here, to be a part of something that's really, it's going to hold me for a lifetime. It's love, it's honesty, and it's healing. I am Maxine, and I am Raw Beauty proud. Amen.